Hello, hello, hello. It is the DE Diva, aka the Delaware blogger, coming to you with episode number 68 of Podcasting Your Purpose. And today's topic is 19 podcast idea topics that you may not have thought about. Now, if you're ready to start your podcast, let's talk about some of those topics. Today, I have a clear mug because guess what? I'm having a new sponsor ship me a mug. Told you I was looking for muggers, and you have listened, and you're going to be sending me those mugs. So next week, I'm going to have a new mug to promote, a new business owner to promote. And again, if you are a business owner and you have a mug or a t-shirt that you want me to promote, not only here on my YouTube channel, but perhaps on my blog, on my podcast, send it to me. Don't forget to do that. Let me show you. Here is my email address. I'm going to show it to you in the beginning. I'm going to show it to you at the end. This is how to reach me. info@ablakeenterprises.com. You guys know I'm a blogger, right? I've been blogging since 2012 and I've been podcasting since 2017, and I've married these two. And so I'm here with you every day giving you podcasting tips and pointers that's going to help you share your mission and your vision using your voice. And then on Wednesdays, today's Wednesday, right? What up Wednesday at 1:00, my new podcast episode on Blog Your Way to a Business Profit dropped. And it was the additional blogging mistakes that new bloggers make. So last week I talked about the first 5 and I threw in a bonus. Today we're going to talk about 6 through 10. So check it out. Here is the link to my podcast. It is tinyurl.com/blog to profit. So check it out. Find out if if you have a problem with your blogging, and you might be making some of these tips that I can help you with. So let's get started with this. So you're ready to start. Oh, and I got something else I got to show you. I got to do a review, and this is going to be a great review for you, for us. Now that we're always online and I'm always using my hand with my mouse, and I'm getting that ache, I'm getting older. So I've got a pain block from Buzz Agent review to do. So that's going to be on here too, probably starting next week after the holiday. Speaking of holiday, happy July 1st. Today, I didn't even change my calendar. Today is the first day of July. I had my car service this morning, had my son's car service this morning. We're running, ripping. I'm just now getting home. It's almost 3:00 in the afternoon. And I feel like I have abandoned you because I'm usually here in the morning. But you know what? I'm here. So I'm going to do what I do. So you're ready to start that podcast. You are thinking of topics. What am I going to do? What am I going to say? What am I going to talk about every week? For every month, after every year. But make sure you're going to choose something that you enjoy talking about, because this is your show. This is going to be your personality. And if you make it hard, you make it a chore, you make it so that you don't know what to talk about, you may give up on it. And we talked about pod fads in a previous episode. So head over and check out that episode as well. And if you missed any of these episodes, you don't need to, because all you have to do is subscribe to this channel, thumbs up every video that you see, or thumbs down if you don't like what you see, whatever. And then click that bell so that you'll get notified every time I go live or every time a new episode is uploaded, because I'm here for you. So make sure it's something that you're interested in and something that other people are interested in as well. Because if you're sitting here talking about something that nobody cares about, you're not going to get those numbers. You're just going to be talking to yourself. Make sure that you are not something that's not too competitive. I mean, right now, I think the most popular podcast is true crime. So if you're going to start a podcast, you may not want to start a podcast about true crime because it's literally oversaturated. You want to find a niche, and you may even want to narrow that niche. And that's something that I talk about when I'm teaching others how to blog. Choose that topic, then narrow it. For example, you want to write a blog or you want to start a podcast about vehicles. Narrow it down. What types of vehicles? European vehicles, American vehicles. How about vehicles of the 60s, vehicles of the 80s, the vehicles of the 2020s, whatever the case may be. You want to narrow that niche. Same thing if you want to do something about fashion. What kind of fashion? Urban fashion, European fashion, male fashion, female fashion, whatever the case may be. Choose that topic and then narrow that niche, because that's going to help you broaden your brand. That's going to get more eyes on your podcast. So make sure you're going to talk about that and avoid anything too seasonal. What do I mean? Like the Olympics. Okay, prime example. The Olympics is only once every 2 years. So you're going to talk about the Olympics in the year that it is, and then nothing for the next 2 years. So if you're going to, even with basketball and football, I mean, sports is good if you cover a lot of sports, but if you do seasonal sports, you may find you're running out of information unless you're crossing over. So again, think about what you want to talk about. So let me give you the 19 podcast ideas that have been written to be untapped. This is not me. This is what I read. Number 1 is sailing. Oh my gosh, it is summer. People are going to be out and they're going to be boating and sailing. And so perhaps there are new people out there. So you can talk about the advantages, the disadvantages, the latest and greatest in sailing. That's a specialized. I mean, you got to know what you're talking about. So again, the competition about sailing podcasts is probably pretty low. So you're probably going to get a lot of ears to that podcast. Number 2, metal and welding. That's interesting. Like construction, right? Because there's not a lot of podcasts about that, but if you're a professional and and people are getting into that profession, you could probably teach them the tricks and the trades of welding and construction. So again, that might be a great podcast topic too. Low competition. Pest removal. Now, this is a good one because this is the time of the flies and the gnats and the ants and the spiders, all of that. Orkin is always in town, You can talk about ways to keep your home pest free. The other day I was in the garage and I saw all these little black bugs. I don't know what these black bugs are. I assumed it was a spider that gave birth to baby spiders. What am I supposed to use to get rid of them? I just went out and bought something and sprayed it. Is it toxic? I have no idea. So again, if there was a podcast that's dedicated to pest removal, whether it's flies or gnats or ants or roaches or even field mice, when we first moved here, the lady next door, she's from the Bronx, right? So I grew up in New York, but she's from the Bronx. I've been in Delaware long enough to know about field mice. She had a field mice in her garage and it was dead, but she was like, oh my God, I got to get this out. This thing was no bigger than my finger. I said, all you got to do is get a bag, put them in a bag and throw them out. She didn't know how to do that. So again, maybe a podcast would have helped her. She could have pulled up and said, what is this? How do I get rid of this? What's the best way to dispose of a mouse? I mean, she probably threw them in the field and then the bird would have got them. So again, pest removal is another great podcasting topic. Another one they said is long haul trucking or driving. A lot of truckers and non-truckers alike, especially in today's environment, we know that we're not getting in the stores what we used to get in the stores. As a matter of fact, I was just in Walmart looking for paper towel. There is no paper towel in Walmart. There's no paper towel at Food Line. There's no paper towel at Dollar General. What's up with the paper towels? I know the truckers are working long hours doing what they need to do. So I suppose they had a podcast. Remember back in the day, they used to have truckers and they used to have CB radios where they would let you know where the best rest stops were, when there were great deals, if there were tie-ups. And again, we have cell phones and all of that. But again, a podcast is dedicated to trucking might be pretty cool for both the truckers or for those that are thinking about starting a career, being a truck driver, or those that have truck driving schools, or even these new drivers with Amazon, right? Amazon Flex. So that would be a pretty cool podcast as well. Yeah, that might be really good. So you could actually podcast from different locations. Another untapped market, they say, are the outdoors, hiking and camping and boating. Again, if you're an outdoorsman, you could start a podcast letting people know what are some of the great places to go while they're out camping, whether they're hiking or anything like that, family, best RV locations. Oh, matter of fact, hi, Kirsten. Kirsten, Move with Mac. She's about to start her podcast too. So I can't wait for her to drop her podcast. Right now, she does the health and fitness, but I'm not sure if she's going to continue that with her podcast. So Kirsten, I'm going to tag you on this episode, this YouTube episode. I want you to leave me a comment. Have you decided to start your podcasting journey? You got your book. Remember, I have the Podcasting Your Purpose webbook. And Kirsten actually purchased a copy. This is $15.99, and you can get it on Amazon, or you can order a copy from me by sending an email to info@ablakeenterprises.com. And if you want, you can order the book bundle. You can also get the basic blogging tips for beginners book. Yes, two for $26, free shipping. So let me know, Kirsten, when are you gonna drop your podcast? I can't wait. So outdoors, hiking, camping, boating, and even RVing would be a great podcast topic. Pets. Oh my God, there are so many pet parents out there, and there's so much going on. My sister Veronica, she just moved here from Florida, and she has a dog. Hi, Bruno. I'm not talking to you. That's an inside joke. But anyway, she has a dog, and she wanted to know where to go for the grooming. So again, if you have pets and you are, you know a lot about pets and grooming and the latest and greatest tips and tricks, and she does everything with her dog. I mean, she buys clothes for it and all that stuff. I'm not a pet person, so I don't care, but that would be great. And then narrow that niche. Choose a particular breed, or a cat or a dog or a bird or fish, whatever the case may be. Again, you are starting a podcast with little competition. So that's the whole thing, because the biggest thing is getting people to listen to you. So niche it down so you get more people listening to your podcast. Number 7, I have a lot of friends that do this. Crafting and creating. Oh my God, whether it's pottery, sewing, basket weaving, woodworking, quilting, making cards, using Cricut for whatever. That would be a great podcast, because you're sharing sharing new features of new things, the latest and greatest, how to get, items and what's on sale. That would be a great podcast. So if you're into crafting, pottery, sewing, basket weaving, woodworking, quilting, card making, and my big sis, Esther. Hi, Esther. Hey, everybody. I'm talking about everybody today. She is Special Touch Card Creation. And one of my clients, Beads by Carol, she does beads. She does handcrafted beads. She would be great as a podcaster as well, so she can talk about different types of beadings, different techniques, the latest and greatest for weddings and anniversaries. So these podcast topics are amazing. Here's another great one, because last night I was watching an episode of America's Got Talent, and there was a young boy on there who had a disability, a mental disability, but he was amazing when it came to playing the piano, and he broke out in a serious drum recital. So musical instruments, starting a podcast about the various musical instruments. There is history behind every musical instrument out there. So that would be a great weekly show to not only talk about the instrument, but the history of it and how it's used, how it was used, and all of that. So that would be great. And then you can do some of your own original work, your songs, play some songs. So that would be another great podcast topic. Here's another one. Flipping homes or buying homes. Again, during this pandemic, we were self-quarantined, and that was one of the things that I know, one of the areas that really was affected was realtors, because they were not showing homes. But if you had a podcast on tips and tricks on what to look for when things opened up again, what are the rates, just all the general information that you use when you're helping a potential buyer or a potential seller. So flipping homes, renovating homes, what to look for, buying homes, selling homes, all kinds of things. Podcasters would be, that a podcast for realtors would be wonderful. And I did talk about that on a previous episode as well. Podcasting. Why not start a podcast about podcasting? I do every Saturday at 10 a.m. on Anchor FM, or Podcasting Pointers. I have a podcast about podcasting because I love teaching podcasting, and I'm working on something amazing. So I can't wait to tell you that. I'm not going to spill the juice or spill the beans today, but I'm working on something amazing when it comes to podcasting. And again, if you want to learn how to podcast, just hit me up. Send me an email, info@ablakeenterprises.com. Get set up with that 30-minute complimentary discovery call, and then you can get this book. This is a great blueprint. It talks about why start a podcast. What is a podcast? It starts from that. What is a podcast? Podcasting. People hear about it all the time. But what is it? Why start a podcast? The power of podcasting. Planning a podcast. Podcasting like a pro. What kind of equipment are you going to use? What kind of software? Your promotion. Oh, that's big. Monetizing and sponsorship, hosting plans, and of course, podcasting on Anchor FM. So this is $15.99. You can order it on Amazon, or you can send me an email and I will ship it to you. $15.99, no shipping cost. And if you want the basic blogging tips for beginners book, the bundle, it's $26. Hit me up, send me an email. I'll get it shipped out to you next week. So that's what I want to talk about there. Wedding planning. Yes. Wow, this was the season for brides. So there's a lot to talk about when it comes to planning a wedding, average costs, ideas, because that's an overwhelming time in any couple's life when they're planning their wedding. I mean, I remember it was over 30 years ago for me. My husband and I'll be married 30 years this year, but I remember all the legwork, all the planning, everything that went into it. And it was just, if I could just have listened to someone that knew or could help me, that would have been great. So having a podcast about weddings and wedding planning is also great. Here's one they're talking about now, 3D printing. There's a lot of news about 3D printing, and a lot of people don't know what it is or how to do it. So that would be a great podcast topic. So if you're into 3D printing or technology, again, technology is great. People want to know more. Storm chasing. This reminds me of that movie. What was that movie with the storm chasers? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So if you're into storm chasing or meteorology, podcasting is great. Shout out to my buddy Brandon, who is the weather guy in Delaware. He's been blogging. He was actually a student in my blogging basic class years and years ago, but he is the weather guy known infamously here in the state of Delaware. So he should start a podcast as well. Brandon, think about it. I'm going to tag you on this YouTube video as well. Let me write that down. I'm going to tag Brandon. I'm going to tag Esther. I'm going to tag Kirsten, and I'm going to tag Carol. So everybody's going to be tagged in this as well. Caving, rock climbing. Interesting. Imagine doing a podcast about that. Might be enough information. Interesting. I don't know. Rock climbing. Most people just want to be outdoors. They don't want to talk. They just want to, I don't know, but it's on here. It was on the list. I didn't write this list. I found it and I'm sharing it with you. Let's move on. Yeah, this one, celebrity and how much they're worth. Choose a celebrity and you can have a podcast all day, every day about them, please. That's how I think Paris Hilton, is it Paris Hilton or Paris Perret? One of those original influencers, original bloggers started blogging about celebrities and just blew up. So you want to have a podcast about celebrities, celebrity network, what their house of worth, whatever. Choose some celebrities in a genre and talk about them. And I'm pretty sure you will have a lot of people listening in. Here's another one, going back to the real estate, flipping home. This one says tiny homes. Have you seen those shows on those tiny homes? So that's pretty cool. And you know what? It's a great way to downsize, like literally downsize, but to really think about, do you really need that McMansion? That's why we gave ours up in Middletown. But do you need all that space, especially as you're getting older? And what are some of the benefits of a tiny house? And what's in a tiny house? And what's an average tiny house cost? And where can you have a tiny house? So that would be a pretty cool popular podcast. Yeah, because a lot of people are downsizing. And now with the economy, oh my gosh, people are getting rid of stuff left and right. Speaking of getting rid of things left and right, I didn't think about this. How about those that do still thrifting? And here I'm going to shout out my girl. Who am I going to shout out now? Leslie. I'm going to shout out Leslie. She is doing her thing on Etsy, and she's doing her thing on, what's that other thrifting, now it's going to come to me. This was happening when you get old. You can't remember half the things, but she's doing some great stuff. She and her husband does some great things with Poshmark. Yeah, a Poshmark podcast. Oh, I'm going to tag Leslie on that, a Poshmark podcast. And I think she has one. So again, that's an untapped market that may be very popular as well. Farming, specifically urban farming. There are a lot of cities that have food deserts. These are locations where you cannot find fresh fruits and vegetables. So why not teach people how to grow them either on their windowsill, on their balcony, or whatever the case may be, so that they can consume healthy fruits, vegetables, and herbs on a daily basis. So urban farming, even when you get mushrooms. And when you can get a chance to get to the store, what kind of foods you should be looking for and what it's good for and how to freeze them. So urban farming and all that's entailed, cooking, storing, finding and growing. That would be a great, great podcast. Last one, number 19, with that bonus one, book summaries. I talked about this when I said authors to audio. You can take books. Every time you get a book, people love reading. You can summarize every book or different books each week. So those are just 19 tips to help you get started with your podcast topics that are untapped. And perhaps you can grab those and, since the competition is low, your numbers will grow quicker. So let me get my water. 20 minutes. Oh my God. Excuse me. So until the next time, stay smart, stay safe, and stay social, because I will see you in cyberspace. And social distancing is still very popular. See you tomorrow. Have a good day. Bye-bye. Sorry I took up all your time.